What's up guys, it's Shane. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do the over the backs. So we're going to start off with just one ball and you're going to throw it over your opposite shoulder. So if you're using your right hand, left shoulder, left hand, right shoulder, you want to go just below the shoulder blade and you want to try and be as loose as you can with your wrists and elbows and just everything really. You want to be nice and loose because the momentum is what's going to carry it over your shoulder. You shoot the ball pretty much straight up, slant it slightly across your shoulder, but don't be too heavy on that, because what can happen is if you kind of shoot the ball forwards instead of up, you end up sending it flying really far forward and catching it really far out. And if you've got all your other balls in the middle close to your body and then you shoot one really far out, it can be quite difficult to bring it all back. So once you've had a few goes of that, just going over your right shoulder and then your left shoulder, and you're feeling pretty comfortable, you're ready to move on to the next stage. But before I take you onto that stage, I'm just going to give you one more tip. If you're still struggling with bringing it over and you're finding that it's really difficult to catch, what you need to do is make sure that when you throw the ball over, you're looking for it. I know, like when you're free ball juggling, you're thinking, but if I'm looking at that ball, I'm not seeing the other two balls and surely they're just going to fall. Don't worry about that for now. I'll explain why they don't just fall to the floor when you stop looking at them. But for now, you just got to bear with me. So you spot where the ball's going and it'll be diagonal to whichever shoulder you're throwing it across. And once you've seen it, that'll help you catch it. The reason why the balls won't drop is because you can look away from them for a split second. What you're going to do is you're going to throw one ball over your shoulder, and when you spot it, when you see it coming over your shoulder, you're just going to throw the other one diagonally across, yeah? As if you were continuing the cascade. Oh, just hit my shoulder. Sometimes that happens, it's part of the learning process. It's just one of those shit happens moments. You've just got to be careful, not be like glued to your back, but not be too far out. It's just a case of finding and feeling where you're comfortable. Okay, so when you bring three balls into this, it's exactly the same as the two ball drill, it's just there's a third ball involved. So if you're juggling, you throw one ball across and that's going to be your ball to trigger things off, and the ball you throw across from that side is going to be the one you catch and then take into the over the back. It's going to feel a little bit weird if you think about it too much. You sort of just got to remember it's the two ball drill, just with an extra ball in the air, but it doesn't make a difference. My last little tip and trick for you is going to be lean back. I know the temptation to lean forward because you're chucking it over your shoulder makes you think that it's going to be easier. Lowering your shoulders is not going to make this trick any easier. It's just going to tempt you to shoot the ball forwards and send you lunging to try and catch the ball. Lean back, because leaning back forces you to try and send the ball up as opposed to sending it forward, because if you lean back and try and send the ball forward, you'll probably just hit the back of your shoulder blade. It forces you to shoot up because you do need to shoot up, so push your shoulders back a little bit or stick your chest out, whatever you've got to do, bend your knees to make sure you do that, because it will maximize your control. Being able to just lean back, and it actually widens your vision. Like if you lean back, you can see further in your peripheral where the balls are going to be coming over your shoulder and stuff like that. So you'll be doing yourself a massive favor if you can just try and arch yourself backwards a little bit. Now, if you're looking for something a little more advanced, you've learned how to go over the shoulder either both ways or just over one, and you want to do something a bit more challenging, you've got the two balls over the back, which looks like this. If I didn't have such a fucking low ceiling. I apologise for the weirdness. Let's do that again. I'm fucking laughing too much. Take 3. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to learn the throw. The throw is the same sort of setup. It's going over the opposite shoulder blade. It's just the main difference is you want to try and twist your wrist in a way that it hooks it diagonally because you want it to sort of go over your shoulders and disperse open in front of your head. So just using the two balls, and you want to be holding them like this in a sort of horizontal position, not vertically. When you go to set it up, you'll probably catch it vertically. I'll tell you how to correct that later. But what you want to do is hold them horizontally and go the same way you normally would over your opposite shoulder, but just try and twist your wrist and pull it a bit like the hook throw so that it actually comes more like near your head. There we go, like that, correcting the catch. When I set it up, catch, you'll see I'm in the vertical position, but I want to be in the horizontal position. This can be corrected because when you go to throw behind your back, the momentum will allow you to change the position of the balls. As you're coming down, if you loosen the tension on your pinky finger, this bottom ball here will actually roll up into the correct position, like so. It's not a magic trick, it's real, like so. You literally just loosen maybe one or two bottom fingers here and the ball will actually roll up. And that will correct that little thing for you. So if you just practice that, make sure you've got it nice, because you definitely want to be throwing it like that. Otherwise, if you throw it vertically, it's going to be dispersing all over the place. And you don't want it to like carpet bomb your audience. You want it to kind of disperse in a way that you can catch it. So catching two balls at once may seem confusing, but if you've ever learned how to do columns, which are these, you'll note that it's actually not that challenging. It's going to be the same sort of thing with this trick, because you're going to throw two balls over, two balls will come over your head, and you've got one ball left in your hand. So naturally, as these balls start to fall, you'll chuck the ball that's in your hand up, freeing both of your hands to catch the falling balls. And again, you want to be leaning back. Ooh, that was a bit dodgy, that one. Leaning back so that you can correctly throw it, because you're throwing up, not forwards. Because if you throw forwards, like I said before, you're going to be fucking lunging like that to catch them. Although, here's a little trick actually. If you ever screw up any kind of trick, it doesn't have to be an over the back, yeah, but any sort of trick, bar the under the leg. If you can do this when you've screwed up an under the leg, I applaud you, because it takes ninja skill to do that. But any other trick, it's fairly easy. If you screw up and you're going too far forwards, what you can do is step to the ball. Like if I've done an under the arm and it's going miles that way, step to the ball. Now the reason I say this is because a lot of people, when they juggle, they're statues. Like they got really cool moves, but they're standing still all the time. And it's like, if you got an audience or whatever, like, or just a crowd of people watching you, don't be afraid to come up to them, you know, move with your juggling tricks, actually come up to them, be like right up in their face with that magic trick or whatever, you know what I mean? You know, it's like, it's showmanship, isn't it? You know, you're moving about, you're taking up the space that you're given, not just like standing still and just, you know, just getting sucked in by the emptiness and just juggling, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Just go out, be open, sort of thing. So don't be afraid if you screw up a trick to step to the ball and just play it off like you're meant to do it. You know, it looks better than just kind of awkwardly like lunging for it and trying to bring it back to your little isolated position, sort of thing, you know what I mean? But that's that anyway. If you got any questions, you know the drill by now. Fucking email me, Facebook me, comment on the video. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, any tips, stuff like that. If you're living in Jersey, I can even meet up with you and give you a few tips in person, stuff like that, whatever. Yeah, good luck.